Episode 9 is set to include many different twists and turns as well as surprises in this film by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one of the biggest mysteries in the Star Wars sequel trilogy has all to do with the past of Supreme Leader Snoke and, of course, Rey. Those, I believe, are the two most mysterious main characters in the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Now, we do know that J.J. Abrams will be answering a lot of burning questions in Episode 9 that actually started in The Force Awakens. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art, and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with Kylo Ren, his Knights of Ren, the Dark Spire, and a huge hint and/or indicator of Snoke's master in Episode 9. Specifically, a description of Kylo Ren inside of the Dark Spire with his Knights of Ren. It's described that they are all kneeling down to a tall statue that is described to be the statue of Nile Ren. It said that Nile Ren was once Snoke's master and also went by the name of Darth Nile. The next goes over Kylo and his knights all standing in a circle around the statue of Nile Ren. It's described that the statue is cloaked with him wielding a large staff that appears to be a new type of lightsaber hilt. It's said that Nile Ren dates back 1,000 years before Kylo and any of his family were ever born, and had once trained Supreme Leader Snoke. So I really want to go over a couple of parts about this and as to why I am so intrigued about everything that has to do with the backstory of Supreme Leader Snoke. Now, yes, we will be learning more about Snoke in a real, odd way, 1 month before the actual release of Episode 9, with the release of the Age of Resistance comic line, where a whole entire issue is going to be dedicated to Snoke. However, what I'm really enjoying about Episode 9 so far is how J.J. Abrams is utilizing the Jedi and Sith lore as a way to not only move the characters of Kylo and Rey forward in this story, but also as a way to give some references to ancient characters that are connected to some of the main characters in Episode 9, like Supreme Leader Snoke and his master in this movie. So let's talk about the Dark Spire a little bit here. We're not quite sure exactly what the Dark Spire really is. Initially, a lot of people were starting to think that maybe it's another word for Darth Vader's castle on Mustafar, which I don't think that's the case, but maybe I'm wrong. I think that the Dark Spire is more around the lines of something brand new that we have never seen before in Star Wars lore to this date. Now, we do know that Kylo Ren and his travels with his knights to the Dark Spire is going to be an inversion of Rey and her travels to the Lost City. So, the Dark Spire is actually said to be somewhat of a castle that holds a lot of ancient knowledge to some of the Sith and stuff like that. However, there's something more to the story here with Kylo and his knights and the reason of going there. So this statue is actually dubbed as Nile Ren, the statue of Nile Ren. And it's said that Nile Ren was once Snoke's master, and also went by the name of Darth Nile. So, as you guys may have heard a couple of days ago, we went over Snoke's master being codenamed and/or named Darth Nile. Now things are really starting to fit together. And you know what? I'm starting to really think, is it possible that both Kylo and his knights are in the Beyond? Now, the Beyond, like I say, is a very mysterious aspect of Episode 9. We're not quite sure exactly what it is or exactly, what it's really capable of doing. But what's really intriguing is that we do know that the Knights of Ren went on a mission to the Beyond during the events of The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. And that's J.J. Abrams' way of explaining as to why they were not present in, of course, Episodes 7 and 8. That's JJ's way of giving it a reason as to why the Knights were not in the past two movies. Somewhat clever, but an excuse at the same exact time, I know. But when we look at the Knights of Ren and Kylo, what I find so amazing about this Darth Nile Ren guy, is that this character dates back 1,000 years. So that's right around the same age as Supreme Leader Snoke. I think Andy Serkis said at one point that he's nearly 1,000 years old or something like that, or maybe hundreds of years old. That's leaning toward 1,000. So you can really see how all the dots are really starting to connect here. and how J.J. Abrams is really trying to make this movie very big, that's going to open a lot of possibilities about future Star Wars lore that can be expanded off of the Episode 9 film in the form of novels, books, comics, you name it. JJ is really trying to really create something larger with this movie that can create a whole entire new universe. So, with that being said, alright, Nile Ren, the statue, is described to be wielding a staff-like lightsaber hilt, a type of lightsaber hilt that has never been seen before on an actual Star Wars movie. And once again, like I say, this sounds like J.J. Abrams is really trying to satisfy the fans by giving us this, Jedi and Sith lore and all these different revelations and twists and turns, as well as giving us new meaning to the name of Kylo Ren. It now appears that Kylo and his knights are worshippers of this Nile Ren guy, who was once the actual master of Supreme Leader Snoke. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.